wonderful Freedom Friday. Oh, wait. Ah, there we go. Now say hey to everybody on this wonderful Freedom Friday AM, July the 3rd, 2015. John?
How are you today, Paul? I said, how are you today, Paul?
I'm fantastic. I just want to, say what a better Freedom Friday to be celebrating than the day before, the 4th of July, which is obviously the celebration day of our country's freedom from British rule. So, I don't know. I'm gonna let you something because I'm gonna go off here in a second. So if you got something you want to throw out there, now's the time, man.
You know what? I'm very excited and anticipating what it is you're going to be talking about today, Paul. I've been up since 2:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. Actually, just really excited about this weekend, being it is the 4th of July, and we've got an excellent business system that we put together here, and I was up all night working on that. And there's really nothing more I want to say than how energized and good and freeing it feels to be doing something you love. And that's what we do with Swissco Global, and our real estate business is all about. And isn't that what freedom is all about? So it is an exciting time here to hear what I kind of have a feeling what you're going to be ranting on about. So I'm just going to say happy Independence Day, everybody, and go for it.
I do have to check at some point in time if what you're thinking does mesh up, because it's so weird how that sometimes happens, you know what I mean? So what I want to get into here is, first of all, you know what, while you're out there celebrating, remember one thing. The initiation of white man's freedom was also of the Native Americans' oppression by the white man. So, every cause has an effect. I mean, there's an action and a reaction. One thing cannot happen in this world without something else happening because of it. I mean, there really is like a yin and a yang to everything, right? So while our freedom comes with this unfortunate side effect, we still have built a great country. Many might say it's the greatest country in the world. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but to be perfectly honest, I have no personal experience in that area. I have no personal experience in what other countries are like, which, from which to really base my belief on whether or not America is the greatest country in the world. So, of course, there's plenty of evidence to back that up. And, I'm probably going to always hold it in my mind for two reasons. One, that, everything changes. And two, that, because I really don't know for myself, and I can only go off of what I see, hear and read and experience. But, I'll always hold in my mind the possibility, that there could be a greater country out there. Because, until I personally find and experience it, I'm going to hold the U.S. as, the title holder of that, of that title. But the fact that this is kind of like the definition of open-mindedness. Okay, I believe, I see the evidence that I've been exposed to in my lifetime that the USA is the greatest country in the world. But you know what? I've never been to many other countries, so I don't know for a fact that the U.S. is the greatest country in the world. I can only go off of what I believe. So that is really, the definition of open-mindedness. And, with that thought right there, first of all, we could take this hangout in so many different directions going off of just that right there. But first of all, what I want to do is I want to welcome everybody who's watching this AM that might not otherwise have been able to make it to this hangout because of other commitments to having to be out there and, getting ready to work or going to work or, having your job that you have to be at and all these things. I hope that you know, here today, you know, find something that can inspire you enough to return here, you know, whether you do it here live or you go to the YouTube replays or whatnot, but enough that, you know, if you want more out of your life, that you'll remain open-minded so you can find an opportunity to change something, you know, that can produce the desired result. So I hope that this hangout today, for all those who normally wouldn't be here on a Freedom Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning, is inspirational enough to say, you know what, maybe there is something that I could do differently or better or whatever the case might be, or maybe there's something I don't know out there that just might make a difference in my world that can change things for the better for the future. So, John, jump on in for a minute, and I'll let you elaborate on those thoughts.
Well, you know, going back to what you started off with, talking about, you know, growing up in America, not really experiencing other countries, with this mindset that America is the best country in the world. And I don't have evidence to the contrary, and I just want to kind of expand a little bit on that thought. Didn't think you were going to take things that direction, but that's pretty cool. I wasn't even off. My mind was on a totally different thing, but I love getting your ideas during these hangouts and then kind of seeing how the ideas that I had maybe in some way mesh out to be congruent with each other. So, you know, back on that point, you know, what makes a country great? What makes anything great? What makes a person feel great? It's really, in my opinion, it comes down to you. And you know, for me, the 4th of July and the meaning of Independence Day, you know, no matter how old the country is, how divided we are on social issues, the government is giving or taking away freedoms or rights or all of that. You know, what Independence Day means to me, and why I feel like I live in the greatest country in the world, which is my own mind, and wherever I am at that moment, you can make the greatest country in the world or the greatest space or the greatest relationship. Where I was going with this idea was that, you know, what Independence Day means for me is that as a human being, as a creature with the ability to think critically and to be self-aware, unfortunately, like 80% of the population really is not anymore, and that's just a cold hard fact. But for me, independence is about realizing that we're not subject to any government. We're not subject to any one person's idea. We're not subject to any man's will other than our own. And that's what Independence Day means for me, tying that into kind of your thought there about open-mindedness. The freedom to be open-minded means, you know, you're not subject to anybody else's will. All the news stories that are out there, all the propaganda, all that different stuff that comes at you, we have the ability, which is so freaking amazing, to filter all that stuff out and create the life that we desire by just seeing things with a positive attitude and realizing that we're not subject to anyone else's will or rule. That's what Independence Day means to me. That's what my mind was thinking about this morning.
Did you read my notes? You just stole my material. Actually, I mean, that's sort of where I was taking this is into all that, you know, because the reason why I was going off on that really, and where I was planning on taking this is that, you know, I think everybody will agree. I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that each and every one of us are, you know, we are who we are what we are, we do what we do, and we have what we have, result of our lifetime, you know, of experiences and exposures. And that, you know, everything we have ever seen, heard, read, done for ourselves, or have been exposed to, you know, is really what we are made of. And it makes me and it makes us, you know, who we are today. And like I said, everything that we are and everything that we have is because of what was. So if you think about that, if you think about everything that you are today, everything that you have today, everything that, you know, is today for you, is all a result of everything that what was. If you look into the future and you say, okay, am I happy with everything that is, or do I want something different? Do I want something more? Well, unless something different than what's happened in the past begins happening now, that's never going to happen. I mean, doesn't that make sense? Yeah, you're going to continue to have, be, and do everything that you have today, tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, unless you see new things, hear new things, read new things, expose yourself to new things, and do new things. Something different. So unless you're willing to be open-minded, and I mean, believe that it's possible. I mean, that's all you need to start with, is just a belief that it's possible. You don't even have to, you don't have to flip the switch in your mind and just goes from, you know, oh, yes, it is, to no, it isn't. You know, all you have to do is switch in your mind the fact that, yes, it is, from, well, maybe there could potentially be a chance that it isn't. I mean, that's all you got to do, is just have that little bit of a change in your thoughts, and you know, just believe that it's possible, and be willing to like question the fact that's in your mind. That is, you know, just question the fact, challenge the current belief that's in your head, gather new information, you know, to put that belief to the challenge. Put your own mind, not someone else's, to use, you know, to view both old and new information. Dispel all the facts that you then determine not to be truth, because you might find, wow, I did believe this, but now I've information here that really, to me, proves this wrong. So be willing to dispel that old stuff. Or maybe you get new information and your old stuff says, no, that new information is not correct. This really is the way it is. Okay, new information, gone. You know, you got to be willing to, you know, dispel what you find not to be truth and hold on to what is real. And then adopt new, different, or, you know, sometimes, like I just said, hold on to the old, you know, information that you yourself, without any other outside influences, that you yourself determine to be the truth.
Wow, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were pausing for me to throw in there. No, I like what we're. It's like you were waiting. It's like were there crickets in the background? No, no. What you said there is really quite powerful. What I'm getting out of this is really, it's, you have to challenge. I think you have to challenge yourself every single day. You know, challenge your own beliefs, challenge what you think you're capable of, and you'll realize that you're capable of so much more. This is an awesome Freedom Friday discussion. You know, speaking of open-mindedness, you know, we have a mentor, Jeff Fagin, and I like one of the things that he says at the beginning of each one of his talks, and he got this, I believe, from working with Harv Eker, is don't believe a word I say. And then he asked us, why would I say that? Because it means everything coming from you. Wait, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. It means everything when it only means something to you if it fits with who you are. But it's about being open-minded enough to like take in new ideas and try it out for yourself. And if it doesn't work, you throw it away. And you should never just automatically believe anything you hear or see without questioning it and challenging a little bit and doing some due diligence. Like, it comes to investments. I also think it comes to dealing with people or new information or a news story. You know, again, it comes back to our minds being a filter. And, you know, don't believe a word anybody says, not in a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, Paul? Not like in a way that you're like overly skeptical. Like, it's okay to be skeptical, but not cynical. There's a difference between cynicism and skepticism, and it's okay to be skeptical. That's the word I was looking for, cynicism. But I really like what you're saying, because again, I come to the ideas as I get older in life that I need to challenge myself more, get out of my comfort zone. And it comes with how I invest my money or my time and just getting out and talking to people. So I don't know, I really just like where you're going with this. So you could take it back over.
Well, that was, I mean, I was doing this, reading what I wrote. This is what I do. Is I wake up in the morning and these thoughts and ideas come in. So, that's not something that I've practiced or, was prepared for this hangout or anything like that. I wrote down this morning. I jotted all this down because, the universe said this is the message you need to go deliver today on this Freedom Friday, day before Independence Day of this country and all that. And so, I apologize for not being in the screen and having a better presentation there, but that's just the way it works around here. Okay, so
I think the information is great, and that's kind of where my mindset was a little bit this morning too. I said, I had. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you kind of cut out. You're kind of cutting out a little bit.
It's funny. You keep coming in real bright and coming out grainy. But regardless, no, like I was saying earlier in the hangout, I got up at about 2:30 this morning, and I just couldn't get back to sleep because I was so excited to start the day today. Believe it or not, because I've got an excellent plan, and I'm not living my life haphazard. And that's kind of where my mind really was this morning, about talking about being excited about what you do every day. But I think it kind of really, that about loving what you do every day and being able to get up with enthusiasm and having energy because you're excited about what you're doing, I think that comes with learning a new way. Because so many people right now are stuck in a routine or a rut. And this falls back to what you were saying a little earlier, where if you're not constantly taking in new information or challenging yourself to go to new heights or challenging yourself to question your habits and then forming new, more healthy or better habits, you're literally dying and you're getting literally in a rut. You've heard the expression. The amazing thing is they've done studies on the brain and they show that people with repetitive activities and actions literally develop grooves and spots of the brain that fire the synapses of communication on that particular routine or that particular habit. So our habits are literally very challenging to overcome. So you have to really want to do it, and you have to constantly, in my opinion, be open-minded and looking for inspiration wherever you can get it from. And that can come as simple as the way you greet people and the way you present yourself on a daily basis. I know. Am I going way off there?
No, exactly. It's you're definitely just enhancing the thoughts that I threw out there earlier. I do want to kind of go back to bring it back into the Freedom Friday, 4th of July celebration. U.S. Greatest country in the world, all that kind of stuff. And I do want to say that oftentimes, if you look back on some of our past hangouts, you'll see oftentimes John and I will be talking about, how crappy this country is and the demise of this country and the ruin of this country and all the shit that this country is headed for and where, how it's been being driven into the ground and all those things. And while, I still might believe that those are at least to a certain extent, there's still and that there still might be another country out there that's even better. I don't know, but this is a great land. I don't know if it's the greatest land anymore of opportunity, but this is a great land of opportunity. There is more opportunity available to you right now in this country than quite possibly there has ever been in history. So even though you might think, kind of like we do, that this country's headed for a shitstorm, or it's, but I mean, it's always going to be headed for a shitstorm. Look at the pay, everything gets great, bam, everything turns to shit. Everything gets great, bam, everything turns to shit. That's just a cycle. It's going to repeat that over and over again. And if you don't wake up to that fact and look at the past and say, okay, these are the things that have happened, and they're going to continue happening, because just as a person, a country is what it is because of what it has seen, heard, done, experienced, et cetera, and so on. A country can't just change like that either. A country is going to change over time slowly, but before it does, it's going to continue repeating, doing the same stupid shit it's done before. Just like you're going to continue repeating to do the same sport that got you to where you are today that you're not happy with. So, that, like I said, there's so much opportunity in this world right now, in this country today, that there's absolutely no reason why you can't have or do everything that you want in this country, in this world. And so with that, I mean, we're at the 20-minute mark. I'm going to say, go out there and celebrate this country's independence, but moreover so, celebrate your own independence. Celebrate the freedom, hopefully, that we brought to you here today, the freedom of your own mind, and celebrate your own Independence Day, and make it about you. You know, it doesn't have to be about the country. You know, the country doesn't drive you; you drive you. So, with that, John, final thoughts, and take us home with the prayer.
I think you wrapped it up perfectly, so I'll wrap it up with the prayer that goes, "O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, through the power to control and to direct my own mind to whatever ends I may desire." And as Paul said, make it an amazing Independence Day. Think about the power of your own mind, and we'll see you back here on New Op Day.
All right, everybody.